Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mr. Kowalczyk, and he's back with another video, this time on section 1-5 for business math. Now, in chapter 1, once again, we've been talking all about money and the money that you can earn from a job. Well, today we're going to talk about something known as salary. You see, some people earn a salary, and that's a certain large amount of money that they're paid for working at a business, and they're paid that for the course of a year. But they don't get paid one big paycheck for the whole year. For example, the year is 2015. It's August 2015, and just a few days ago, a Colts player by the name of T.Y. Hilton just signed a contract for $60 million for 5 years. That means he's going to get paid approximately $12 million a year. That's his salary, $12 million. But the Colts aren't going to just pay him a check for $12 million each year. They're going to pay him perhaps every week, or maybe every other week. But instead of paying him one big giant sum, they pay him a little bit over the course of the year so that he can pay his bills. I mean, he's got rent or a mortgage to pay, he's got to buy groceries, and he can't wait until he gets that $12 million paycheck. He gets those paychecks every couple of weeks. Well, same thing with regular jobs for you and me. As a teacher, I get a paycheck every other week. And as we're talking about this, what we're talking about when we're using the words every other week, we're talking about something known as pay periods. Right inside this red circle are various pay periods. If you get paid a paycheck every single week, well, that means you are on a weekly pay period schedule. So that means you'll get 52 paychecks in a year if you work every week. If you're like me, you get paid bi-weekly. That means every other week you get a paycheck. Now, bi-weekly and semi-monthly look similar, but they're not. You see, once again, bi-weekly is every other week, which is 26 paychecks in a year. The difference is that semi-monthly is twice a month, not necessarily every other week. Some people get paid on the 1st of the month, August 1st, January 1st, June 1st, but they also get paid on the 15th of every month, August 15th. January 15th, June 15th. And because they only get paid twice a month, 2 paychecks a month, that means they're going to get paid 24 times in a year. Now, very, very rarely will someone get paid monthly, but if they do, that means they receive 1 paycheck per month, which is 12. I've not heard of anybody getting paid annually, but just in case I threw it in there, annually means you get paid once a year. So those are all the different pay periods. You're going to need to know all of these numbers in this circle. Why? Because you're going to see these words all throughout our problems today. You're going to see them all throughout our problems today. So keep that in mind. Now, as I was saying, some of you might get paid salary, so you get paid a giant sum of money, but it gets split up amongst all of these different pay periods. Once again, either weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, and so forth. Well, in order to figure out today's problems, what we're going to try and do is calculate someone's annual salary. In other words, how much money do they make in a year? The other thing that we're going to try and figure out is someone's pay period salary. In other words, how much money do they make each time they get paid? So for number 1, we've got to first figure out which formula we're going to use. Why? Well, because we're not going to use both formulas. We're either going to use one or the other. As you're doing your homework today, as you read through all these problems, you're going to have to be looking carefully about this, all right? You're going to have to be looking carefully about this. So, as we do this, let's jump right into number 1. Janet. Janet is paid $495 on what type of basis? Weekly. What are we trying to find? Her annual salary. So if we're trying to find her annual salary, which formula are we going to use? Well, we're going to use this one right here. This one helps us define the annual salary. So if we're following this correctly, what we're going to do is first type in her pay period salary. In other words, how much does she get paid when she does receive a paycheck? Well, she gets paid $495 each week. So every time she gets a paycheck, it's $495. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that. That's right. We are going to multiply that times the number of paychecks that she's going to receive in a year, also known as pay periods. So, with that in mind, we're going to write in 52. Some of you might be wondering, what do you mean 52? because there are 52 weeks in a year and she gets paid on a weekly basis. Let me show you once again. Weekly, 52. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? So because it says 52 right there, we plug in 52 right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 495, multiply it times 52, and we're going to get a big stinking number. And that will be our answer for this problem. That big number is $25,740. That's how much Janet gets paid per year for her job. That's not bad. That's a not bad pay, but of course it could be better. You know, there are a lot of high school people who, after graduating from high school, make money like this. If you want to make more than that, you may need a college education, but not all the time. Sometimes people get really good jobs out of high school with their diploma. So, let's keep it moving. Let's move on to number 2. With number 2, we're talking about a man named Stan Martin. Stan Martin. And Stan Martin earns an annual salary. Do you see that? Annual salary. And he earns an annual salary of $58,043. $58,000 or $58,043. So what we're trying to figure out, and I'm going to change the color on that, make it stand out a little bit more. What we're going to try and find out is how much would his paycheck be if he earned it bi-weekly. Once again, Mr. Kowalczyk here gets paid a bi-weekly paycheck. That's right, I get paid a bi-weekly paycheck, a bi-weekly salary. Now, if we go up here and look at our chart, once again, take a look at bi-weekly. What number are we looking at for bi-weekly? If you said 26, you've got it right. We're looking at 26 paychecks in a year. So Stan will receive 26 paychecks in a year, and our question ultimately is, hey, how much is that per paycheck? So what we're going to do is we're going to write down the annual salary. All right, we're going to write down the annual salary. Why? Well, it's because we are going to be using this formula. We've got to use that formula. So what is his annual salary? Well, it's $58,043. And we're going to multiply that. We're not going to multiply that. I take that back. We're going to divide it. Divide it, not multiply. And we divide it by the number of pay periods in a year. How many pay periods does Stan have? How many paychecks will he receive? 26. Why 26? Because once again, it's bi-weekly. Bi-weekly. So I take 58,043 and I divide it by 26. Now here's the thing. When you do this in your calculator, you're going to get a big old number. All right, with a bunch of other decimal places in it, okay? Well, here's the thing, folks. Are we dealing with money? Yes, we are. And if we're dealing with money, that means we need to round this. We're going to round it to $2,232 and 40, is it 42 or 43? It's going to be 42. Why does it stay 42? Well, the reason why it stays 42 is because this 3 right here is a small number. Whenever it's a small number, you leave the 2 alone. Now, if it was a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9, then we round it up to 43 cents. We don't need to do that. So there, we've shown our work, and then we've wrote down both of our answers. If you need to, ask Mr. K if you have any questions. That's it for this section. Be sure to watch the next video for section 1-6.